This is the last in a series of presentations that prepares participants to understand the L identification process to effectively and efficiently identify English learners in a standardized and reliable way. In this presentation, we will review how to input screener information and scores into the English Learner Management System. At the end of this presentation, participants will be able to enter all necessary information into the English Learner Management System to identify provisional Ls for English language support services and be able to verify that the information was successfully added into ELMS. The Idaho State Department of Education created the Idaho System for Educational Excellence, or IC, which is a K-12 longitudinal data system which supports the SDE's budgeting processes, data submissions, and delivers information to educational stakeholders to create data-driven decisions. Within the IC web application lives the English Learner Management System, also known as ELMS. ELMS is now the primary place where district test coordinators can manage and monitor L assessment data, L program supports, individual L plans, and screener information. District personnel use ELMS after a WIDA screener is administered to document the test outcomes and to assign an L status to a provisional L. ELMS has two different user roles, which allows district test coordinators and school test coordinators to perform different actions within the system. The viewer role allows users to view L information within ELMS, but does not allow the user to input any new information or submit any documentation for a possible appeal. The editor role allows users to do just that, edit and add information to the system. District test coordinators or school test coordinators will need an editor role to enter in the screener information after a screener is complete to identify new English learners. If you are new to the role and need access to ELMS, you may request an access by contacting your district IC coordinator. The district IC coordinator can request a role be assigned to you through the submission of an Otis ticket. LEAs who are sponsored by a larger district are encouraged to reach out to their supporting districts to discuss how the two entities will use the system between the two districts. This will ensure that all newly identified Ls and Ls transferring into a sponsored LEA receive an L status or are placed into the school's language instructional educational program. After a screener has been completed and scored, ELMS users who have the editor role must enter the screener information into ELMS. To do this, the first step is to find the student who completed the screener assessment. Once a user is in ELMS, they will want to select the Find Child header on the left-hand side of the application. The system requires a user to enter in the student's first name, last name, and birthday to find a student within the system. Now, I would like to save you a lot of time by introducing you to the Work in Progress function. Once you have found a child in the system, select the Work in Progress function from the Actions column to put the student into a Work in Progress list. This allows the user to come back to a student quickly without having to look them up again through the Find Child function. Once you have found the child and have hopefully placed them into your Work in Progress list, you will need to input the screener assessment information into the system so that an L status can be assigned. ELMS editor users are required to enter in the following information to submit screener scores successfully. This information includes test type administered, test date, the state the screener was administered in, the district, the school, the home language of the child, the grade, the date of first enrollment into a U.S. school, and lastly, users will need to provide the screener scores for listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and the overall English proficiency score. The steps to enter in a screener can be summed up in 6 easy steps. First, log into ELMS. Second, find the child using the Find Child function. Third, select the Screener Action button under the Actions column. Then add the screener administration information into the system After this information is saved, another tab will prompt the user to add the listening, speaking, reading, writing, and overall proficiency level scores. The last step is to verify the accuracy of the information and select the Submit button. Remembering that the WIDA remote screener is only used during times of extended school closures, recording the WIDA remote screener outcomes into ELMS is not the same as adding information for the formal WIDA screener and kindergarten WAPT. The first step to enter a remote screener into ELMS is to read through the English Language Support Services Identification Procedure for use during extended school closures. This will familiarize users with the process for pre-identifying a student for English language services using the WIDA remote screener. Once the district has administered the WIDA remote screener and has decided on a student outcome, they will need to record the information into the Notes section of ELMS. A Notes template is provided in the SDE guidance to document the school's decision to either provide English support services prior to being formally screened. After a note has been added, communication should be sent to the family reviewing the screener outcomes, service provided, and next steps after the child returns to school. The SDE supplies a family communication letter template in the guidance document that districts can use to inform parents of the student's performance. The next slide explains how users can verify the screener information they have submitted was successfully recorded. After an ELMS editor user has entered both the screener information and the screener scores into ELMS for the formal WIDA screener or kindergarten WAPT, an L status should populate under the L status column under the student's record. Students identified using the screener administered in Idaho are more than likely going to have an L1, LE, or SO L status. If you need more assistance with navigating and/or entering screener information into ELMS, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at the Idaho State Department of Education.